I am Marissa.
And I'm Annabelle.
And I am Travis. Sorry, I cut into that.
No, it's okay. And we're here with Travis from We the Kings. So it's super exciting. Thank you so much for letting us interview you. This coolest experience ever.
Oh, of course.
So.
I love the opportunity to bring people into our bus, especially after like the first week, because it's the dirtiest it's ever been. So everybody leaves with like, oh man, they're like really messy. I don't know how they live on that bus for so long. But right around like week 2, like everybody kind of like kicks into gear and we like start actually being tidy. So I want you to know that this isn't the end all be all of the band.
Good to know.
Noted for that. So I know your tour just started, so how you feeling about it? Excited?
I feel awesome. We started in Nashville, and I think this is show 6. Yes, 6. And it's been going really, really well. We prepared a really long time to be on this tour. It's the 10th year anniversary of our very first album, which came out in 2007. So it's kind of a nostalgic tour to us, and it's also sentimental in ways that other tours haven't been. So I think it's really cool for us to come out and not only for the fans to have that nostalgic feeling of listening to songs that they started listening to 10 years ago, but it's also for us and remembering like all the stories behind the songs and things like that. So that's kind of this tour. Every time that we get on stage, like our minds kind of go to like that place. It's really, really cool to have that element of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How do you feel that your album is 10 years old?
Well, I do feel old. There's a lot of people that come to our show. They're like, I heard about you in elementary school, and I'm just like, oh my god, like that's crazy. But it's amazing. I feel like there's been so many artists who haven't been able to endure 10 years. You know, they break up or they get in a fight or whatever happens, and they just stop making music. So I feel fortunate, and I feel very grateful to be able to have done this for 10 years. And I hope that, you know, we can do it for another 10 years. But it's, I know, I think the main feeling is just absolutely grateful.
So going back in time, what would you say your favorite moment was when you were making this album and recording and writing it and everything?
I think, okay, so I'll give you 2 answers to that question. My very first time we kind of had the album, and it was 10 songs. The album, as we all know it now, is 11 songs. So we had 10 songs, and our management was like, this is awesome, we're going to put out the record in a couple months. And this was in like April or May of 2007. And I went home, not home, but I went to our hotel room, and I just started like playing guitar. I was like so happy for the first time in a really long time. Like I felt like everything that I worked for was really going in the right direction, because we had gotten signed by this label and this management company was working for us, and we were these kids from this nowhere town in Florida that were up in New York City recording this, you know, our very first album that was going to be put out, and it was going to be like on iTunes, and we're going to have CDs. It was just crazy. So I started like playing guitar, and I wrote this song that I called like the 11th hour track, because it was the 11th song on that album. And I went in, I took it into our management. I was like, hey, I have this song. I really want to put it on the album. And he was like, no, you can't do that. The album comes out in like 2 weeks. There's no way you can't just squeeze a song on the album. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like a few minutes goes by. I was like, no, I think it's like really, really important. I think I need to put this song on the record. And I was like, can we at least ask the label? And so he was like, okay, they're just going to tell you the same thing. I was like, that's fine, just call him. So he calls the label. He's like, hey, so Travis wants to put another song on the album. And they started laughing. Like, yeah, no, that's we'll use it as a single of the next record. Like, can't put it on this one. I was like, all right, you know, at least I tried. And then a couple minutes goes by, and I'm a Taurus, so I'm like kind of stubborn. I was like, nope, it's got to go on this one. It's just, like whatever we have to do, push the album back. Like we have to. It's really, really special. And I feel like that was the moment that I took a chance on the band and did something that might have been a little crazy, because we'd never had a label, we had never had a management, so the stuff that I was saying was reason enough for somebody to stop working with us. So I had our management call the label back. I was like, just trust me if you can, that this song is important. They were like, fine, okay, so we'll have to push the album back a couple months and for you to record this song. So we record the song in a day and a half, and they were like, you can't call it the 11th hour track, it has to have like a title name. And I was like, all right, well, then I'll just use Check Yes Juliet. And that was the 11th song. It was the last song that I wrote for that album, and it ended up being our first single and set us up to do everything that, that we've been able to do. And so that was really like a monumental moment for us as like a young band. And then the second thing I would say is when I first heard Check Yes Juliet on the radio was in our hometown. It's on the biggest radio station in our hometown. And I was at the beach, I got into my Jeep, and I turned the car on, and Check Yes Juliet was playing. I was like, oh, I didn't know that I had the CD in the car. And then I looked at the thing, and I saw like it was 93.3 FLZ in Tampa. And I was like, oh my god, no way. And I checked, I double checked like different things, and it was playing on the radio. And I got out of the car, I blew like my speakers because I just went, and I was like, guys, because they were behind me. I was like, you have to hear this, and like we were just running around. It was insane. I'll never forget that moment, and it was two pretty awesome moments of We the Kings.
From the success of that album, what's like the biggest thing that came from it? Like,
I bought a nice house. No, I'm kidding. I think just having fans that are all over the world, that in places that I've never been in my entire life, that I've only dreamed of going to. That album set us up for that. Set us up for all the travel that we ended up doing. We've been to dozens and dozens of countries, multiple continents. Like it's a really amazing experience for us, and I think that without that album we might not have been able to do that. It was hard for us to tour even around Florida. Like going to Orlando, which was only like 2 hours away, was like a feat for us. So that was the biggest thing. Having an album out and being able to promote something was really nice, because people could listen to it online and be like, oh, I want that band to come here, and then a promoter would reach out and say, hey, come here, and then we would.
So, off that album, what would you say your personal favorite is, either just in general, or what is your favorite to play live? I
think my all-time favorite from that album is a song called All Again For You. It's track 10. And I don't know why it's my favorite. Actually, I've tried to think about like why. It's like the subject content and the lyric. Every lyric from that album means something very special to me. It's about my personal life, so how could it like not mean something? But that specific one was just about my high school girlfriend and I. We weren't allowed to hook up at her house because her dad was crazy, and like looked really mean. He was a nice guy, but I was always terrified. So we would drive to a beach, and we would like in the middle of the night and just hook up. So I don't even know where to go, but that's what the song was about, and the idea of like whatever thick and thin comes from it, like I would do it all again, for you. So that's my favorite, and I think maybe it's just like the melodic feeling of it, and just the vibe that it puts off.
So another question I had, why did you get into music? Like, what fueled you to want to start playing music and form a band?
When I was 4 years old, my mom was a singer-songwriter when she was growing up. She never did anything with it, but she always had instruments around the house, and we had this really old piano, and I guess when I would come home from like daycare when I was 4 years old, I would just go play like the piano, like play different songs that I had heard on the radio or like at the church that I went to daycare. And my mom, when I was 5, asked if I wanted to get piano lessons, so I said yes, and then I took piano lessons for 7 years, and then right around, I think I was 13 years old, I went to see Blink-182 and Green Day and Jimmy Eat World play, and I went home from that tour and called Hunter, our guitarist, and I was like, dude, we have to start a band tomorrow. Like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I think we can get girlfriends if we do it. So he was like, oh my god, I'm so in. Yeah, definitely. And we started the band the next day. So I think there was a couple things. I loved playing the piano. I really, really loved doing that. I also loved the idea of being in a rock band and just being able to tour around. So I think that's kind of like the girlfriend part probably is what got me to start a band, but just my love for the piano got me into music.
And you guys started with a different name.
We did.
Right?
We started with 2 different names. We were first Broken Image, and then there was this band from West Virginia that was like, hey, we're going to sue you. We're like, oh, we don't have any money, but we'll just change our name. And they were like, okay. So we changed it, and then we changed it to DeSoto. And there was another band that was like from like Wyoming that was like, hey, we're going to sue you. And we're like, we don't have any money, but but we'll change it. We don't even like the name anyway. So we got really sour. We're like, the name sucks anyway, so you guys can have the stupid name. And then we ended up naming it We the Kings after our middle school where we all met and started playing music was King Middle School. So we're like, okay, if anybody has We the Kings, like that's just crazy, like because it was just a made-up name for us. And so to this day, nobody has that name. But if they were to start it, maybe we could be the people that'd be like, all right, I'll see you.
So, just wanted to ask this. I know you guys tour a lot and everything. Is there a certain venue that you love going to or one that you're excited to go to?
I think anytime that we play in our hometown, so Hartford is very close to Coley, his hometown of Shelton, Connecticut. And so all his family comes out when we go down to like Tampa, St. Petersburg area of Florida. All our family comes out. All my family, all Hunter's and Danny's family come out, and it's not really the venue as much as it is like the company, and it always makes us really nervous to play in front of our friends and family that like know us before all of this, and I think that's maybe what makes it special. So there are really great venues. Like there's like Red Rocks in Colorado. There's the Gorge in Washington. There's festival fairgrounds that we've been to all over the country, but which are awesome and they're like so fun to play. But as far as like the sentimentality of it, I think is that a word, sentimentality?
Sure.
No?
You can make it a word.
I'm gonna make it a word.
Okay.
I feel like I have to be critical of what I say because you guys are students and I don't want to put out a word like that and not be real. But you know, it's one of those words that's like it's not a real word, but you totally know what
you're trying to say.
Anyway, so there are much better venues in the world, but because of the sentimentality of our hometown venues, I think that I would choose that.
When you go on tour, do you ever ask for anything like weird or unique on your rider?
We did. We asked for a Dora the Explorer pinata filled with beef jerky and cheese. Only like a few times, but it was only just to see if the venues were reading the rider, because for so long we got like a veggie tray, a fruit platter, bread, peanut butter and jelly, or just like in water and Red Bull or something, and we were like, I feel like this is just like the standard rider, so let's put something on there that, like if we put like an anvil, you know, and somebody brought like a 2-ton anvil for like a boat, you know, just like here you go. So that was our job of testing the venues, and we actually got it twice, and we didn't really know what to do with it. And I'm vegetarian, so I don't eat beef jerky, and the idea of beef jerky and cheese inside a pinata of Dora the Explorer doesn't really like feels too appetizing, so we just stopped putting it on the rider. We're like, okay, they're reading it, this is fine. So I don't think there's anything weird right now. We get, I think socks is like our not weird thing, but like, you know, like when you put like a fresh pair of socks on, it feels like really nice.
So nice.
Yeah.
Best feeling ever.
Especially after walking off stage and everything's sweaty, you like throw your socks away and put on yours. It's maybe just a We the Kings thing, but I like that.
No, I think that's original.
Yeah, it's unique and useful. Other
Yes,
than the
very
beef
useful.
jerky.
Definitely useful.
Yeah, and having that much beef jerky in one place is just never a good idea. So.
I feel like it smelled really bad.
It did. It really did.
So I know you guys get to do like meet and greet sometimes. Have you ever had fans like make something that you really remember? Have you gotten weird things from fans?
We've gotten both. Like we've seen both sides of the spectrum. Like, and it's all meaningful because it's something that they worked really hard on and that they believe to be, a genuine present or a gift. So the one side of the spectrum, we got voodoo dolls in New Orleans, and we weren't really sure if we were allowed. They were creepy. We were like, do we throw them out, or is that going to be like some sort of bad juju on us? And I think something happened where it was enough for us to think that it would be a bad idea. So we put them in like a box, and then we give it to our tour manager. We're just like, okay, we don't know, like we don't want to know what you're going to do with them, but just don't let us know so it doesn't like freak us out. The opposite in the spectrum, we've gotten amazing just drawings of like our personal lives. Like my wife and daughter, I would take a picture of us, and somebody who's just incredibly talented at pure artistry would draw this just unbelievable sketch of our family, and I get to put it like on the side of my bunk, and I think that's something, they don't have to buy that. They're just using whatever their talent is to give us a cool gift, and I think that's probably the most special to us.
It was pretty cool.
Plus, I can't draw, so when I see it, I'm just like, how do you do that? That's crazy. And then they say like, how do you write songs? I was like, I don't know, it's easy. And they're just like, I was like, how do you do that? And they're like, it's easy. I don't know. So it's just cool to see so many people are talented in this world, and like all four of you are each talented in something very specific, and that's pretty cool.
Wow, that's so positive. Oh, my heart. So when you grew up, and throughout your years of playing music, were there certain like artists or bands that really stuck out to you that was like, this is like the biggest reason why I'm doing music, and this is why I continue to strive for that dream?
I mean, obviously, like I said, Blink-182 and Green Day and Jimmy Eat World have been like just incredible influences on us, but I love Coldplay, and I love the fact that they were able to incorporate piano as like their main instrument and just make this like just super anthemic music where it only sounds like it would be played in an arena, and bands that are like that I really grow attached to, because it does seem like larger than life, and I feel like that's what we've always been striving to get to. Not necessarily the arena thing, but just to be able to play music to just fields and fields of people, and just do like whatever feels true to us. And I think that's any band that's ever been true to themselves is bands that we kind of latch onto, because just it's cool. I feel like you can see how genuine people are when they are staying true to who they are. So we've always tried to do that. There are a bunch of bands, Coldplay being one of them.
Guess it's time.
That's usually like the 2-minute marker.
So, do you guys have any music coming up? Like new music you guys are?
We do. I've been writing a ton of music. I have, I think, 16 songs for this next album, and we started doing like the demo process of all of it, which is really, really fun, because you kind of get to everything's stripped down. And I've always believed this, that if you just play acoustic guitar and vocals or piano and vocals and play the whole song, if it's good that way, then all you can do is mess it up, by adding too much stuff into it. So all the demos are very stripped down, and you can hear what the song is for what it is. And so there's like 15 or 16 songs in the works right now that I'm really, really excited to show people. But it's like that, like I know it's such a process to get the songs and kind of build them into fruition, but it's like, to me, it's just right there. But in reality, it's going to be like probably like 5 months or something like that. But it's worth the wait.
That's super exciting. I know. We're very thankful for this interview with you. This was amazing.
Very
experience.
exciting.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I like doing
incredible.
interviews, and everybody asks like different questions, so you really never know what you're going to get. So everything's like, like when some interviewers, you're like, okay, we're going to do like the rapid fire question. Like that's hard enough as it is, and then adding more content to not just a rapid fire, like, hey, we're going to ask you a question that we need you to just pull out from wherever. And I like it because it brings me back to certain places. So I like it as much as you guys, is what I'm saying.
So, just thank you
You're
so
very
much.
welcome.
Yes, thank you for inviting us onto your
You're very
bus.
welcome. I hope that you like our Home on Wheels.
We do.
You have to get a shot just of this, because it reminds me of my mom. It's like an antiquish door. I don't know. It doesn't say Rockstar at all on it. It just sounds. It looks like, I don't know, the Home and Garden Network or something. We've all been not making fun of it, but just it's been like the not eyesore, but the center of attention for this bus. I'm glad you guys got to see it.
Yes.
I wanted to draw attention to it.
It's a great.